I'm John. We're going to discuss sharpening a knife the easiest, fastest way that I know. First thing we're going to do is we're going to raise a burr. This is my knife blade. That's the burr. You cannot get a knife sharp if you don't come down to the edge. The edge is right there. You have to come down to the edge at least on one side in order to raise a burr. Once I raise a burr, my next step is to take the burr off. If I raise a burr and I take it off and I do it properly, it should be razor sharp at that point. So this is the only thing you have to do is raise a burr. You just keep it simple. Any tool you want to sharpen, raise a burr, then take it off. This is the stainless knife. This is the kitchen knife. We're going to use this to sharpen. Stainless, because it's softer than high carbon steel, tends to hold the burr longer. And when you try to take the burr off, because it's softer, it will fold back and forth more times.
John, what is a burr?
A burr is that very fine bit of metal that forms right at the edge of the tool when you're sharpening. And it doesn't matter what tool, whether I sharpen a knife, whether I sharpen an axe, or whatever I sharpen, once I get to the edge and it rolls over slightly, it'll be a burr, and I can feel the burr with my thumb. If I very lightly draw my thumb or finger over it, away from the edge so I don't cut myself, you'll feel that burr. If you don't feel the burr, you haven't got it. Okay, we're gonna sharpen in the same direction, changing sides of the knife. If you feel comfortable using both hands, I like to use both hands because you get the same stroke. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can take and turn the knife over the opposite side and run back, but you want to always make sure that the direction that you're sharpening will be such that you end up with all your teeth going in the same direction, so they're all parallel. If I went like this and then turn it over like this, you'll have scratches that are 90 degrees to your other scratches, and it'll be weaker. You'll find your knife will cut better if you keep all your scratches lined up, so it's like a saw. If you look through a microscope and look at this blade, it will look very jagged. It will be a saw. It will cut like a saw. It will cut better. If you're going to use it to cut this way, you want the teeth kind of hanging into the... If you're going to cut this way, make the teeth the opposite direction. It'll cut better. So think about that when you're sharpening. Another stone you could use, that's a silicon carbide. Here's a diamond stone that are very nice because you can sharpen anything on them. The way I keep them clean if they get clogged up is I take one of these silicon carbide stones and I'll clean it with a stone. I just take the stone and I just rub it across it. That cleans all the garbage out of it. And then I'll wipe it off with just a clean rag. Now I'm going to demonstrate with some magic marker so you guys can figure out where you are on the edge when you're sharpening. What I'm doing is I'm taking a magic marker and I'm marking both sides. Just a few lines on there will tell you what you need to know. Now, when you start sharpening, if you're not sure where you are, start low and lift up. At some point you'll feel it biting more than it did originally. When you get to that point where it's biting, turn it over and make sure that you're actually sharpening. And you should, if you start low, you should see yourself. If I start low and look at it, see, I'm not all the way to the edge. So if you don't know where you are, just slowly raise it until you get to the edge. You don't need to go too much higher the edge because you'd like to keep the lowest angle you can unless you're using the knife in some way that requires a really steeper angle on your edge. Once I raise the burr, so I'll have a very slight burr. I'll feel for that burr, feel it all the way down the edge. Once I get it all the way down the edge, I'm going to take that burr off and Generally I like to use a Washita stone, which is a soft Arkansas, and I just draw it in the same direction that I did previously, very gently, sharpening in the same direction. And you can see the dark, see how it gets darker there? That's the steel coming off. And you can see these are fast cutting. Okay, this is a porcelain stone. It's just made of clay, porcelain. It's unfired. If you took the bottom of a plate where it was unfired sitting on the kiln shelf and smoothed it off a little bit, it would work fine for this vinyl. What I do is the same thing as I do on the Washita stone, very lightly draw it across it, and you can see how it turns a little bit dark. That's the steel particles again coming off. So a few light strokes across it, being careful not to slice your finger off, and you're good. Then you want to strop it. Again, I strop it on my hand or on anything I might want. We've finished sharpening. If you've taken your burr off and you've got it razor sharp, you're ready to take it in and use it. If you have any questions, you can ask me when I'm at Earthskills gathering in Florida or at the Firefly gathering. I'll be teaching both places. And if you have any other questions, you might post them right here on this YouTube channel.